I have been yapping up a storm about manifestation, specifically manifesting a specific person. And I know you're like, okay, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And yes, I can. Because I have to tell you guys about how I manifested a guy that literally told me, don't ever speak to me again. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're crazy and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, let's talk about it. How I turned a player to turn into the version of him that I want. And when I mean the version of him that I wanted, like the exact version. I'm gonna keep some things just brief and private because some of the things are just irrelevant. But as for like the manifestation, let's get in it, okay? Because that's what really matters. So for some more context, this was definitely when I was really stepping into my power in terms of manifestation. So I wasn't like, I was experienced and I was good, but definitely I was not good at manifesting specific people back then. So this was like a guy I was friends with, and you know, he was cute. I always thought he was cute and stuff like that. We were just friends, and I established it as that, you know what I mean? He would flirt a little bit, but when the flirting started to get heavier and heavier, that's when I was like, you know what? I want you, and I don't care. So for the sake of his privacy, let's just call him Jeremy. So Jeremy and I, you know, we're friends. We definitely had like tension, like we'd flirt and stuff, but it was nothing like that at the time. Now Jeremy is a known player. Like everybody know how Jeremy get down. Like, he's just one of those, okay? But that's why I was like, no, I can't be with him, like we're friends and stuff like that, blah blah blah. So boom, like this thing happened, and I don't know, he just decided all of a sudden it's cuffing season, he needs a girlfriend, and boom, he just moved on to another girl completely, as if we weren't low-key like in a talking stage. Like what the heck? Now there were many red flags with this situation, and it just kept going and going and going and going. But I'm gonna be honest, when this happened, I just surrendered to my 3D and I just started crying. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So after I cried about it and stuff like that, I realized, no, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna boss up, and I'm gonna be me and do me and make him want to come back. Like this is my thought process at the time, okay? So I started to run with the assumption that there is no third party and it's just me, and that he only has eyes for me. I changed up my look, you guys. I just changed myself for a man. Insane. But this is how I was thinking at the time, you know what I mean? So I had him on social media, of course, but I made sure not to look at his stories, because like I don't want my mind to wander off and think, oh my god, what if they, you know, they're going out having fun. Like I just don't want to think about it, and I definitely don't want to press on no story and see her again and him together. Like I already saw it once. I nearly choked crying. Like I don't want to ever see this again, you know what I mean? So now this was like 2 weeks later, exactly 2 weeks later, he texts me and he's like, yo, she doesn't want nothing to do with me, blah blah blah, she heard some things. And I was like, yes, finally, thank you. So yeah, I'm like, you're my man, and that's too bad. No, I didn't say that, but I was like, oh, it's so sad. Anyways, you'll find better, obviously referring to me. So this was like a couple days after that talk we had. I was downtown with my friends and we were at the mall. I was looking cute. I was looking so I'm not trying to hype myself up, guys, but I was just like feeling myself for real. Anyways, I had went to get a drink or something, or I went to the bathroom, I don't know. Anyways, point is I left them for a second, and then when I came back, they were all like to me, oh, what's his name was just here, Jeremy was just here. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you know what I mean? Because they know him, he knows them, and all kind of stuff like that. We just friends, they know his friends and that whole type of thing, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, he went that way. I looked that way, but I didn't see him nowhere. And I'm like, you know, old me would have got up, took one of my friends and been like, let's go look for my man. But I was like, you know what, if I see him around, we're gonna see him, but if I don't, I don't, and it is what it is. That's how I did it. I was so surprised myself, because you know, when you're looking good, you want your ex or whatever type of situation to see you looking good, you know. But I was like, you know what, forget it, I'm just gonna stay on my throne and just hang out with my girls. And that's what I did. So, you know, I was posting on my story not to really rub it in his face, and he was like, you know, you replied, he was like, oh my god, you're so pretty, blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, you were there today? And I was like, yeah, I was there, and blah blah blah. And we just started talking more and blah blah blah. Like, this was all red flags, but I didn't see that at the time. As I said, low self-concept, low self-esteem. But anyways, let's fast forward a good maybe 7 months. He was leading me on, you know. We'd flirt, we'd still go out, we'd still hang out, we'd practically be like we're a couple, but no title, of course. And of course, it was his reasoning, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship, I don't want to do a relationship, I just have things going on. He didn't have shit going on. Like No shade, but he just really didn't. So if we get into like the whole toxicity of it all, of course, I was, as I said, low self-esteem, low self-concept. I always had to do things to retaliate, and then he would do it back. He had me on delivered for a day. I remember one time I had him on delivered for a week. Like, I was the type of girl that would spam his phone. He would spam mine too sometimes. I would definitely scroll through his followings, his followers, and be like, oh my god, these are girls that are prettier than me and stuff like that. I have competition. But then he was also doing the same thing to me. He'd be like, oh, why are you following this guy, and blah blah blah. So we both had low self-esteem, low self-concept. We were both just like, we were mirroring each other. You know, as they say, people are a reflection of you, and that's exactly what we were doing to each other. Now, I need to talk about looping, and I need to talk about why it's foolish in a way for you to manifest a text or a call from a person, especially when you're not being specific of what exactly you want. Because this is what I kept doing, and this is why it went on for as long as it did. Think about it. If you were with that person, a little text and a call is nothing. It's ordinary. You know, it's the norm. It's what happens on a regular basis. You know what I mean? But me, I was like, oh, I want to manifest that he'll like text me today and tell me that this, and whatever. And here's the thing, and this is why I kept looping, and this is why this took so long for me. It's because I would manifest, okay, he's going to text me today saying that he cares and say like, I love you or something like that to me, and okay, he would. But then I would start to run with the assumption that, oh, but there's another girl on the side. And then I shift back into that version of me that believes, you know, there's another girl, he's this, he's that. So I'd go from, okay, elevating and affirming for the better, and then when it would happen in my 3D and everything would be good, boom, those old negative assumptions, old limiting beliefs would come and drag me down and bringing me back on that timeline, if that makes sense. So therefore, it was just a constant loop of going up and then going down, because I just continued to waver really bad. So therefore, there was no full movement of what I really wanted, and that went on for an excruciating long time. Now, months later, he really just transformed into the version of him that was absolutely the worst, like the version of him that I basically hated. But with that being said, I was so bound to him. I was like, I don't want anyone else. Like, I want him to change. That's what I was praying for. That's what I was manifesting, that he would shift back into the version of him that like I loved. You know what I mean? In a way, it was like I was mourning him because he just wasn't that person anymore. He completely changed. And I know he had a lot of like bad things going on in his life, and we would talk about it sometimes, but then he would take his anger out on me, and it's like, I don't deserve that. You know what I mean? And I really pray that none of you guys have to go through that or find peace if you were in a situation like that, because it's just not good for you physically, mentally. It's emotionally draining, just everything. So to really speed it up, it was just, we had our highs and our lows. But when there was high, it was high, and when it was low, it was low. And then it was a point in time we had an argument or something like that, and he was like, no, I'm done with you this time. I don't want nothing to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again in life. You're crazy, blah 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 blah. So because of that, I knew it was just over that time, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull back. And I know that when I pull back, I get cute, and I do this now for me this time, me switching up and elevating and all kind of things like that. It's gonna be for me this time. That's exactly when he's gonna come back. And of course, that's exactly what happened. I took time to take care of myself. I healed myself. It's so important. Manifestation is so incredibly easy when you heal. It's exactly why a lot of my content is on self-improvement, because once you heal, once you take time to love yourself, things are easier. I just had it set in my mind that when I elevate and I switch into this new version of me, he's going to want to come back, and he's going to feel so stupid for what he did to me and treating me the way he did. Not to mention, it actually took me months to really like fully get over him and our connection, because I just had to realize, okay, this connection, this old story is dead now. But with me like shifting and deciding like, you know, I'm going to be this new person, I didn't have feelings for him anymore, because I was just too different. And then I started to attract guys that were like exactly what I wanted, to the point it was like, okay, but I don't even want what's his name anymore, because I want what's his name now. You know, there's new characters. And I'm gonna be honest, because I was still going through my healing phase, I did self-sabotage a lot of those other connections that I kind of was forming. And it wasn't really because of him, it was just because of my own emotional wounds. You know what I mean? Because I didn't even like him anymore. It just showed me that I still had a lot of work to do. That's all it showed me, and that was perfectly fine. So I continued to focus on myself. And definitely by this time, I didn't like him, nor did I have any energy bound to him, nothing, because it was just like, you're an old character, like I don't even care, I don't even miss you anymore. But it did take me a very long time to stop. So now, a year after the last conversation we had, he hit me up. Like, at first it was like maybe he followed me again on social media or something like that, and then he started to text me a little bit, maybe a week later, and he was like, hey, how you been, and whatever. By this time I was healed pretty much, and I didn't have any resentment or anything towards him, so I was friendly, and I was like, hey, how you been, and those things like that. And we just started to talk a little bit, like on a friendly level. But then he started to say like how he was sorry for this and that he's changed, and he realized he fumbled me and those types of things, and he was like, I want to rebuild the connection. And by this time I was like, I could do one or two things here. I can play with his heart and lead him on the way he did me, or I can genuinely see if I have feelings. So I kind of did both in a sense, because I wanted to see if I really had feelings for him. And we went out, and I didn't have nothing. Think of it like this. It was like, I have updated my system so much to the point you're just not a compatible app anymore. You know what I mean? Just not compatible for this device. Like, yeah, I'm just different now. Also, just one of the reasons why I self-sabotaged those other connections I had with another guy after him was because I just wasn't fully healed. I was just trying to fill a void by moving on to a next guy. And that's exactly one of the reasons why I thought I was over him, and that's why I was done with him. But it wasn't, in fact, that I was over him. It was that I just passed it on, all my hurt, all my wanting, onto another guy, because I basically just did the same thing that I did with Jeremy to the next guy. I was like having that desperate energy, like, oh, I want him, oh, and that's my resistance, and all that energy pushed him away. It's not like I did learn my lesson kinda, but I just had more lessons to go through, because I wasn't super obsessive or weird or anything like that, but just with my energy alone created resistance. So it was just like I kind of scared him away in a sense, you know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed to even say that, because it is what it is. I wasn't fully healed. When I say you need to love yourself more than you love the person, I mean that shit with my whole entire chest. You have to love yourself more than the person. And the reason why I mentioned the first kind of incident was because, as I told you, I changed and I decided to shift for him, just to manifest the desire, basically. But it wasn't for me. It wasn't for any other area of my life, for my finances, for my career, for anything else. It was just for him. And that's ridiculous if you really look back, if I really think about it, you know what I mean? And I'll never condemn you guys if you guys tell me that, you're having a hard time with a specific person or whatever, because I know that everybody has their own weaknesses. Unfortunately, as a human, you're gonna have your own weaknesses and your own traumas, and that's why manifesting certain things are just harder for you. But yeah, oh my god, I'm getting real deep in this. I'm getting a little bit deep. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more success stories, more videos just like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Anyways, love you. Bye.